All right, welcome back. Question. Can the evil of a few people be used to condemn an entire group? Is it right? Is it fair? The Westgate shopping mall attack came as a shocker to many, but at the same time it brought out the best in us through philanthropy, and we saw that. However, between the lines, if the testimonies of some of the survivors are anything to go by, Islam came into sharp focus. Witnesses who escaped say the assailants tried to separate Muslims from the crowd to allow them to go free, while the rest were shot dead. As we declare we are one at this moment of recovery, it is also time for us to clarify the place of religion and, of course, the place of terrorism. In studio, of course, with us this morning is Sheikh Ibrahim Lithome, who is a legal advisor of SUPKEM. Welcome to the Power Breakfast Show. Of course, it was a sad moment. In fact, we're still recovering from what happened at Westgate. But then, of course, concerns have been raised, and that is why the question is there a religious dimension in relation to terrorism?
Yeah, thank you very much for that question. And it's a question that has been asked time and again, and people will continue asking that question because religion has been brought in. It's very unfortunate, Mwakazi, that some people have intentionally used religion to cover up their heinous crimes. It's very unfortunate. And when you're talking about religion here, of course, Islam comes into focus. Not only because of the Westgate, even before that, other events. That is not to say that other communities or other religions have not been, or people claiming to belong to other faiths have never been involved in acts of terrorism or acts whereby innocent people have been killed. It has happened. But I can see why now the focus is on Islam, because people have claimed that they are doing this in the name of Islam. And naturally, eyebrows will be raised and people will ask questions. Is it true that Islam actually tells its adherents or its followers to kill innocent people? So this is what we have to grapple with. And Mwakazi, it's coming at a very unfortunate time, because we as Muslims in this country, just like other Kenyans, as Kenyans are mourning because of the dead people, we are also mourning for fellow Kenyans and even fellow Muslims and even relatives who died there. As Kenyans are treating the injured, we are also treating the injured. And on top of that, now the religion has to come into focus. We have to explain. Come here, Muslims, does your religion advocate this heinous crime that even animals cannot do? And the answer, Mwakazi, and sometimes it is our word against the others, it's no. Religion does not advocate for this. Islam does not advocate for this. Then the question comes, how come some people in the name of Islam are committing this? My simple answer, and I speak here with authority because I am a scholar of religion also. I am a lawyer and also a scholar of Islamic law and religion. And I'll tell you, this is a misconception, a total misconception of the teachings of religion. Quoting text, religious text, out of context, and sometimes people who claim to be scholars, they are the people who are indoctrinating. And there is nothing like a human being who has been indoctrinated, a human being who does not know and follows others who he or she believes are guiding them in the right path, but are guiding them in the wrong way. Just like at the end of the millennium, we had of a group, and I believe these were not Muslims, who said now the end of the world is coming, sell everything, get into some, I think some cave somewhere, close yourself in a place of worship. I don't want to call it a church or whatever, a place of worship, and let's burn here because the end of that is indoctrination. So the same thing. It is very unfortunate.
In the case of the terrorist attack, and the terrorists, I don't think it has come out that they're saying they're killing in the name of Islam, but they are saying they're revenging the deaths of the Muslim brothers that, KDF went into Somalia. And the majority of the Somali population is Muslim. Okay. So they are revenging on behalf of the brothers rather than they're killing in the name of the Quran instructs them to do so. Okay. Have you found that distinction? And therefore, follow up to that, what would be the Muslim fraternity be doing to sort of change that whole thing that we are revenging on behalf of Muslim brothers?
Okay. Number one, if they're revenging on behalf of Muslim brothers, take Somalia. 100% Muslims, 100% Somalis, they're killing each other there. Those who are being killed by these groups there, are they non-Muslims? Actually, it's Muslims killing fellow Muslims there. So actually the issue of saying we are revenging for our brothers who have been killed is out of place. Then the issue of KDF, okay, is there. If you are truly fighting the people who have killed your people, as they claim, then go and face KDF. They should go and face KDF. So the question of revenging for your brothers, you are revenging in the wrong place. They are revenging in the wrong place. And why here Islam has come into focus is because of all these allegations. The allegations that they would tell the Muslims to go away. Of course, they ended up killing Muslims. In fact, Muslims were the first people to bury their dead because we don't keep. So actually, there is all this mix-up. But I can see that distinction here. These are people saying that we are revenging. You don't revenge on innocent people. You revenge.
Isn't it, Ibrahim Johnson, there's something here. Isn't there anywhere within the Islamic faith,
yes,
this notion that you go and conquer the infidels? Is it possible that therefore this is an interpretation by the terrorists of that command?
I would call it misinterpretation.
Right.
And I'm talking with authority here because I know, like on Sunday, one of the dailies here carried a quotation from the Quran out of context, unfortunately. And it's very unfortunate because sometimes it is not only the non-Muslims who misquote the teachings of Islam. Worse than that, even some people claiming to be scholars or even followers of the religion misinterpret. It does not. Islam is an evangelical religion. Yeah. I am out to conquer everybody. Today, I would want Mwakazi to be a Muslim. I would want you to be a Muslim. We are evangelical, just like Christians are evangelical.
Yes.
And by the very fact that we are evangelical, we are supposed to attract people. Now tell me, doesn't it beat logic? But the people I want to bring into my fold, I'm killing these people. Actually, I should go out of my way and show you the best of my religion. So you can see that contradiction. Talking about now, if I ask you today, you are saying, isn't it anywhere in the teachings of your religion that you should go out and kill the infidels? Where is it? I can tell you there is nothing like that. But I can tell you one thing, without apologies, that yes, Islam tells us when you are attacked, you should defend yourself. If today we are persecuted as Muslims in this country, which we are not, then the religion tells us you should go out and defend your religion. But if there is peace, you are living peacefully, it is wrong to go out there. And you should read the history of Islam. The first Islamic state that was established was in Medina. In Medina, there were Christians, there were Jews, and we even had people who were worshipping idols there. The condition for them to live together was live peacefully. As long as you live as practice our religion, you practice your religion. And in fact, in the Quran, we are told very clearly, Lakum dinukum waliya din. You have your religion, I have my religion, and there is no compulsion in religion. So this idea of saying go out and conquer infidels, I believe this is deliberate. It's done deliberately. Sometimes by ignorant Muslims, and sometimes by the enemies of Islam, just to show Islam as a religion that is out there to kill everybody.
Agreed, Ibrahim. But would we, taking on your point of, the teaching that if you are attacked,
yes,
you should defend yourself, you should fight back.
Yes.
And that's what I'm saying, that these guys are using that excuse that that they were attacked in Somalia, so they're defending themselves and taking the war out to the enemy.
In fact, there was a statement to the effect that they killed our women and children. That is why we're also killing your women and children.
Wrong, totally wrong, unacceptable.
Ibrahim, was there something that wasn't done to prepare therefore the ground for our going to secure Somalia? Perhaps a little more, awareness or co-opting of the people of Somalia ought to be done, so they know that the KDF is in Somalia to rescue them from among themselves, rather than this an infidel force that has come in to hurt us and destroy us. That dimension, have you engaged the KDF to say, look, can you take this message out? How can we help you to change that if this is going to persist?
No, you mean and we prepare the KDF and give them the message to take the people of Somalia?
The people of Somalia.
Yeah.
As Muslims, talking among yourselves as Muslims, saying, look, it is not that you're being attacked because of this and that, as the terrorists are alleging, that perhaps before KDF went into Somalia, groundwork to prepare that operation was not done, to just change the minds of the people to know that this is not a foreign attack on you, but that we are coming to sort out your own interests?
Let us look at it this way. Before KDF went into Somalia, was this group there or wasn't it there? It was not created or it was not formed because KDF is there. The group was there even before.
Right.
Now we have come into focus because KDF went there, and this is an army from Kenya, and now these people cannot fight this army, and they feel now we want to hit back in their country so that they can go back to their country. So I don't see that connection of preparing the people and the rest. KDF being in Somalia there, KDF did not go there to fight the people of Somalia. KDF went there to secure Kenyan interest, to secure our borders, to make sure there is a buffer zone, there is a safe zone between us and Somalia. So there is no relationship between KDF being in Somalia and being prepared to tell the people of Somalia. Everybody knows, the whole world knows, KDF did not go to fight the people of Somalia. It went there because there is a terrorist group here fighting in the name of religion, and because this group cannot face the KDF, now they are hitting back at us. It was expected. And for me, the day people celebrated that Kismayo has been liberated, I felt sad myself, because you're fighting a faceless enemy. And there is nothing as difficult as fighting a faceless enemy. And because they are faceless and they cannot face these organized professional military, it is natural that for them they had to go back and hit back home so that they can destabilize you, so that you feel like, okay, let's go back in our country.
There's a question here from Kingori from Nanyuki. Says, we are also concerned that thugs are using religion as a cover to hide and cause death of innocent lives. But can you explain about jihad so that we can come out of this confusion that jihad means killing?
This is another problem here. Misconception and misunderstanding of terms, not only by non-Muslims, but even by Muslims themselves. The word jihad is an Arabic word which means exerting efforts. Me as a Muslim, I'm told, when I exert myself and wake up at 5:30 to go to the mosque, that is called jihad, because I'm exerting some efforts to be close to God. Unfortunately, people have taken the word to mean a holy war. In fact, in Islam, we have nothing like a holy war. But is there armed strife in Islam? Yes, a time comes when you are persecuted. Then now jihad moves from exerting yourself to worship God and be close to God and to defending yourself. It is there, and they have no apologies at all to make about it. But killing innocent people, there is nothing like jihad to kill innocent people. And in fact, if you look at the teachings of Islam, even when it is armed conflict, with all the conditions that now you can go into armed conflict to defend yourself, there are conditions to that. Condition number one, do not kill any unarmed person, any innocent person or somebody who has surrendered. Those are the conditions. And it has to be ordered by a commander. We don't have a Muslim commander. In an Islamic state, the Khalifa would do that. But we don't have that. So jihad here, when I'm exerting myself, when I'm making sure that my family is following the teachings of Islam, that is jihad also. So jihad has many meanings, it has several categories. But unfortunately, many people rush to jihad meaning armed conflict. It's not there.
We've looked at the press today, and there's apparently the intelligence in this country is saying that there's more recruitment of youth across the country to join such movements as Al-Shabaab.
Yeah.
The recruitment is still following along those lines of your brothers are being killed, come into this war to defend Muslims or Islam or things like that. The question I would like to put to you is in this concerning the leadership like you in SUPKEM? And what is it that you think you ought to do, or you think you want to do, and how can you be able to do it to change that trend?
Of course, we are very concerned about this. We are very concerned because all that is based on misconception of religion. Whether somebody wants to call himself a sheikh or a leader, but it's a total misconception and a misrepresentation of religion, totally. So what we are doing as leaders now, and if you followed the Friday sermon last Friday, and this is something that will continue, and we have been making efforts unknown to many people, is to make sure that in our mosques and in places where people come to be taught Islam, we are sending the correct message. correct interpretation of the religion. And for those people claiming to be sheikhs, because unfortunately in Islam, we don't have people who are ordained. You don't say now, you've studied up to this level, now you are ordained. Anybody who has studied the religion and feels now he has knowledge that he can now convey to other people will stand up and teach people. And you know, even the nature of human beings is such that you go in the middle of Kenyatta Avenue and stand there and start preaching or talking, you'll have people following you up. You could be a mad person even, but people will still follow you. So in every community we have some mad people. Some mad people who, for whatever reasons, maybe some psychological problems they have, they would stand up and misinterpret religion for their own interests. So we are trying to deal with this thing. And now, because this problem has become so, you know, it's heavy on us, it's weighing heavily on us, I think we have to intensify now our programs to the youth and also look at the causes of some of these things. Why do the youth follow people with these radical tendencies and ideologies? Most of the youth are idle. Some of them would even follow them for economic reasons. Some of them because of their lack of knowledge, because the families they come from don't have strong religious background. Today, my children, I've brought them in such a way, nobody would come and mislead them and tell them this is Islam. They'll tell you outrightly, this is not Islam. So for people who don't have that strong Islamic background, add to it economic problems, add to it people being idle. So they become easy fodder for these people with these wrong ideologies about Islam. So it's very unfortunate, and it's a problem that we have to deal with because everybody is blaming us. It's like the neighbor coming to complain to me, there is a child here who's breaking our windows, and the boy is claiming to be your son, and he's claiming you're the one who has trained him at home to break windows. And what we are saying, this child who is claiming to be my son, actually is not my son. And even if he's my son, I've not trained him to do this. So what are we supposed to do? Me and my neighbor, we join hands and make sure we take care of this child, punish this child together. Because the child is claiming to be my child, and maybe even his nose looks like mine, his physical features look like mine, but I'm disowning this child. This is not my child, and I did not train him to do such a thing. This is what we are saying.
Yeah, there's an issue here that has been raised. Looking across the local media, especially in reporting about the Westgate Mall attack, little was being mentioned about, you know, Islam and Muslims, save for, you know, the testimonies from witnesses that they were actually told about to actually declare their religious interest. But you look across the international media, Reuters said Kenya is at war with Islamist militants who attacked a Nairobi shopping mall. You look at The Guardian saying dozens of people have been killed in Nairobi as Islamic militants stormed a shopping mall.
Yeah.
To a great extent, there is that concern of, is this a Western propaganda to link terrorism to Islam?
Very unfortunate. For a long time now, you know, number one, it's not a secret that there is no love lost between the West and Islam. This is very clear. And the media, international media, and sometimes even the local media, you know, there is that profiling of Muslims. The moment the word terrorist is mentioned, what comes into the mind of everybody is that must be a Muslim. In fact, had Artur Margarian had some semblance to an Arab, they would have been called, these guys are terrorists. But because they happen to have Christian names, nobody called them terrorists. They were given some other words, I think Mamluki, that's the name they were given. Unfortunately today, if a non-Muslim commits a crime, it is that individual who has committed the crime. But when that person happens to have the features of a Muslim or the name of a Muslim, it is the Muslim who has committed that crime. I know there are incidences, and you people know that took place. There was some blast, I think, at Uhuru Park, and it ended up with a pastor. Nobody said a Christian terrorist. It was an individual. They said this is an individual. So this is unfortunate. So I won't rule out propaganda, Western propaganda here. Let a criminal be a criminal. Why judge a whole community because of the crime of an individual? It's very unfortunate.
But did you hear the testimonies that said the terrorists were trying to identify the religious affiliation of their hostages?
Let me not speak for them here. There are all those allegations.
Yeah.
And if it is true they used religion,
Yeah.
I have no apologies to make. I'm saying it was wrong for them to use religion, for that matter, if they used religion. And it's very clear, why can't we as Kenyans see the intention of these people? Here we have we have Muslims living in this country, very harmoniously coexisting with the non-Muslims here. What is the best way to destabilize this country? Pit the Muslims against the non-Muslims. Simple. So that is the way we should be looking at it, because how many Muslims died there? And why weren't they so careful if they are so concerned about Islam? Then logic tells you they should have warned the Muslims, don't go there that day, because we are coming to kill the infidels there. But they allowed the Muslims there. They allowed those who are doing businesses there. We know of people who have lost their everything, who are Muslims in the mall. They should have warned them. If these people are so godly and so concerned about Islam and Muslims, why did they also kill the few Muslims that they killed? Not only that, Mwakazi, small kids were killed there. And do you want me to share with you something that you didn't know? As a Muslim, my teaching tells me every child, including your son Mwakazi, is a Muslim, is born a Muslim. Meaning what? Submitting to the will of God. It's only after they grow up now that they choose what religion to follow. This is my belief. If they are those good Muslims they claim to be, and they are fighting for Islam, why kill those innocent children? In fact, in Islam we call them angels. Why kill those angels? So it's very clear here. They were using this. The easiest way now to destabilize this country is take it the Nigerian way. Drive a wedge between the Muslims and the non-Muslims. The government will be so busy now trying to quell this religious acrimony between the two communities, and we'll do our things. So it's very clear here. So no apologies. If anybody used religion and said Islam, very unfortunate, and we disown that person, because Islam does not advocate for that.
Tomorrow there is the interdenominational national prayer.
Yeah.
You know, is this the most that we can do, really? And there are things that need to be done to move this country forward out of this religious issue on terrorism.
Yeah, I think, okay, prayer is important, because at the end of the day, we have to leave everything in the hands of God and believe that God is able and God will help this country. And I believe Kenyans, prayer has taken it, has really helped us. In times when we are so desperate, prayer has always helped. But beyond prayers, we need to do something. One, we need to talk with each other, not at each other. And I'm talking about the leadership, the religious leadership here. I have the experience of the Ufungamano initiative, where the religious community came together and we were able to achieve a lot. And so far, when things have been very threatening, and religious acrimony has threatened to tear this country apart, the leadership of all these religions have come together. And I believe now more than ever, the religious leadership of the Muslims and the Christians particularly, these two communities here, because these are the largest religious communities in this country, we need to sit down and talk with each other, not at each other, and remind each other that all of us are Kenyans. We don't have any other country. God planned that we Muslims, Christians, and others coexist harmoniously here. There is enough space for everybody. We don't want to take this country the direction of Nigeria. We have to live together. We have enough space for every person. So I think we need the Interreligious Council of Kenya needs to do something. We have that council here. They need to come up, talk to their people. The Muslim leadership, because the finger is being pointed at them, they need to come up with an intensive programs for the youth. And we need to tell the youth now to listen to their elders and guide them, and not to listen to people who are misleading them. So we need to do a lot. But this idea of profiling Muslims, it does not help. Because there is an incident I keep on quoting here. 3 KDF soldiers were shot in Garissa. Very bad. Sometimes I think last year they were shot there. The next thing, the marketplace was burnt down. I believe that caused more radicalization of the youth, because the next day they woke up and found the place where they had their livelihood has been burnt. The allegation, I don't know how true it is, the KDF or the law enforcement agencies have done that. So they become easy fodder now for people like Al-Shabaab and other people, because they look at what your government is doing to you. So sometimes even the way the law enforcement agencies react also causes more radicalization. So we have a problem here. We need now to address that problem. Let us not make it a bigger problem by profiling the Muslims. Let those who are the perpetrators, Let them face the full law force of the law.
Ibrahim, in places like Northeastern, in Garissa or Wajir, where these incidents are happening a lot, the problem there is even worse, because you remember, I mean, apart from the incident you are mentioning, there were others where a church was targeted. I mean, they've been actually targeted attacks there, exploiting the same religious lines to target. The government comes in that strong because perhaps they would say, we've left it to the religious leadership to sort this matter out, to try and contain it. Is it that hard? Is it that hard? Or what role should the security agencies play when things get out of hand like that?
I think even before they get out of hand, ask yourself, what measures should we put in place? We have an intelligence in this country. What are they doing? We have other administrative organs in this country. What are they doing? How do these people, how our borders manned? How do we man our borders? How do people manage to come in with weapons in this country undetected? So we should ask ourselves about the precautions that we are taking, and before we even ask ourselves what action should we take when something happens. So it should come from there. So we should not just blame one community. Let us look at all the stakeholders. And for me, the government is the biggest stakeholder here. Where did we go wrong? Where are our security agencies? How do we allow people to come into our country undetected? And for me, I'll point a finger at corruption also. I think corruption has a big role, has played a very big role in this. A security officer who is paid 6,000 per month, somebody comes maybe with 50,000, he will accept that and allow things to go on. So let us not just blame one person. I think we should now look at this problem as Kenyans, not as one community. It is our problem as Kenyans. How do we address it? By pushing one community at a corner, we are not helping at all.
Right, perhaps because of time, as we wind up, somebody has sent you a message saying, Sheikh, I congratulate you for defending Islam in this crucial moment. It's sad and wrong, unfair to say that all terrorists are Muslims. It's only unfortunate that Kenya is a neighboring Islamic country and KDF police had deal with Al-Shabaab, meaning of Islam is peace. Perhaps your final word in terms of handling this situation, because the Westgate Mall tragedy really was an offensive against Kenyans, because both, we're looking at Muslims, Christians, Hindus, and different people from different religions were attacked. What is your final word in terms of moving forward, even under the banner, we are one?
I think the way to move forward is, number one, we should not profile or condemn one community wholesale. Let us look at this problem as Kenyans. And for our law enforcement agencies, I think this time we should not stop at saying we shall leave no stone unturned. Actually, the perpetrators should be put to book, and all of us have to work together. And I would also plead with the security agencies here, let us not use this to harass innocent people. Already we have innocent people who are being harassed all over the place. So let us do the right thing, let us do it professionally, and let us do it together as Kenyans, and let us stop profiling people just because of their religion.
Perhaps Makali, a final question?
Well, I think he's laid it well. I wouldn't want to stretch him more than that. These issues are about unity, about oneness, and I mean, Ibrahim says he's a scholar of religion, and I'm sure if you look back in the early days, Ibrahim, religion, even between Christians, I mean between Catholics and Anglicans, there was always a struggle, conflict to it. But those days have now moved on. I mean, we are